Well, I'm about to call Cheyenne Services, but somebody is here. Hey, somebody's at the door. Somebody's at the door. The cops for you.
Good afternoon, Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. This is Luella. How can I direct your call?
Hello, my name is. Hey, back up. Back up. Back up. Back up. Back up.
Walter!
You go.
Walter, get.
Sorry about that. I'm having some dog issues. I was given your number by Deuel County Sheriff's Department, and I'm trying to get an advocate set up and possibly some transportation. Hello?
Hey, how's it going?
Still
An
breathing?
advocate in transportation for what?
Well, I'm supposed to be trying to hook things up with Region 1 Nebraska, and
Okay.
in order to do that, I also have to go to counseling in Sidney, Nebraska with Nicole Peralta at Corona Counseling.
Okay. So you're needing to find transportation from Deuel County to Cheyenne County.
Yes, ma'am, but I also need an advocate so that I can speak to police officers without having my words taken out of context or my rights violated. I have a few reports that I need to make.
Okay, I do not know how to do an advocate. We're going to learn how to do this together. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
So my first question is, do you currently get medicated through the state of Nebraska?
I did, but I don't have it currently. I need help getting that back.
Okay, so what we're going to do is okay, for the state of Nebraska for Medicaid, I'm going to give you the call center and I want you to apply over the phone.
All right, you guys have a pen? Thank you, Officer Holloway. All right, what's the name of the place?
Okay, so it's Medicaid for the state of Nebraska. It's a call center. And what happens is you can call the call center and you can apply for Medicaid over the phone. If you had Medicaid and it was stopped, then you can find out what you need to do to get it reinstated if you have to reapply. And then I would ask them about getting transportation. Where in Deuel County do you reside?
I don't have an address currently.
Are you staying with someone in Deuel County?
I am. I don't have his address at the moment.
Okay. Well, and then that's what you would tell them once you can apply for Medicaid, that you'll need transportation. You know, if you are residing in Chapel, let's say, then you'll just say, I'm currently residing in Chapel with a friend. I need to find out about transportation to and from Chapel to my appointment, my medical appointment.
Yes,
my
ma'am.
counseling appointment.
Yes, ma'am.
So let me give you that phone number.
Okay.
Okay, so for Medicaid, the call center phone number is 1-855-632-7633. And it is a call center. Stay on the line. I promise you we'll talk to someone. Once you get that representative, you just tell them that you need to apply for Medicaid.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now the advocate side of that. Let me place you on hold real quick because I have to find out where we need to go with that. So hold on, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
How's things going, Sean?
They're going all right.
Good.
It's a bunch of phone calls. I've made
Yeah.
a bunch of them this morning already.
Good. I hear it sounds like you're getting your help. At least they're pointing you in the right direction, getting you that call center? And
Well, usually it results in me calling one place to call another to call another to tell me that I need certain things in place in order to get their services. So I have to call another place that'll send me to another place. That's why it's been over a year and a half of getting absolutely nothing. It's just phone calls.
well, hopefully with that call center, you just talk to somebody and they'll get you applied and hopefully accepted to Medicaid, and then you can go from there.
Yes, sir. There's stuff I do to help me to calm down and deal with, because everything that happened to me just rolls around in my head nonstop. So I use video games to try to come away from that. But then with all the phone calls, waiting on people to call me back and stuff like that, I end up just waiting and waiting and waiting and getting antsy and calling them back, and then waiting and waiting and getting antsy and calling them back. And then the receptionist calls me back, so then I'm busy talking to a receptionist, and they don't really know what's going on, and I'm not really sure what's going on. So it's
Long, confusing mess.
it is. And then it's compounded by the fact that I don't have my disability income coming in, and I don't have a mailing address. And then there's my driver's license, which expired on my birthday last year, and I have to be able to get all of that taken care of. And this is all stuff that requires that I get this taken care of and that taken care of. And then I have to go back and deal with predators of mine in order to get some of that stuff, which makes it even more complicated.
Got it.
You guys aren't here to try putting me on suicide watch, I hope.
Nope. No.
Very good. Region 1, they are supposed to help people with housing. They actually didn't help me last time, which is part of the issue that I had.
Got it.
I had to choose between paying rent for the month at the place I was staying at or go to my court appointments in Colorado. And I went to my court appointments in Colorado. Despite the fact that I went to over 20 court dates, they tried holding me on failure to appear, and I only failed to appear because I was incarcerated, which is a situation that happened in Scotts Bluff. And I'm just sick and tired of being dragged to the hospital and fucking drugged for trying to turn in police officers.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in the system. I grew up in hell. There's no reason for me to have to go through this as an adult. And also, I don't hold you responsible for the officers who did wrong before you. I'm just real leery of you because you work in the same department. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have a couple questions for you. When you mean advocate, are you meaning like legal aid? What exactly is Deuel County, the sheriff's office, telling you need an advocate for?
Well, it's not that they're telling me I need an advocate. It's that I need one for my own safety.
Okay. Because I asked two of my social workers here because I wasn't quite sure what we were looking for, and they have both suggested the legal aid phone number.
All right, well, I'll get that from you. I have called legal aid, and I have their number, but I have literally hundreds of business cards that I've collected over the last 3 years, and digging through them to find the one that has legal aid on it for Nebraska would be a giant pain in the butt.
No problem. I've got that number right here. I actually have two numbers. One's an 800 number, and then one's a 632 number, so I can give both of those to you.
All right.
So the legal aid phone numbers I have are 877-250-2016. And then the other number for legal aid I have is 308-632-4734.
All right. The advocate that I need would be a social worker or a caseworker. I'm disabled and I don't have I guess when you're a kid, they call them guardian ad litem, and I had one as a kid, but as an adult, I was supposed to get a new one when I turned 18. I was also supposed to be getting a diagnosis for Asperger's at the time, and because I ended up getting dropped off at 18 with absolutely nothing except one shoe, a pair of pants, and the shirt on my back. I've literally been jumping through hoops and falling through the cracks ever since.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. Because I don't know how that works once you turn of legal age in Nebraska.
Well, I had to call Adult Protective Services.
Yeah.
And I called them, and they said to get a hold of the Department of Health and Human Services. And I called them, and that was last year.
Okay, because usually what happens is I don't have an APS or Adult Protective Service worker in my office here in Sydney. So what happens is it goes through the abuse and neglect hotline, and then when it gets if it gets accepted, it gets then prioritized, and that just means within days they make contact, and then APS then reaches out to you.
All right. Do you have a number for them?
I do have that hotline number. So then that hotline phone number is going to be 1-800-652-1999.
APS.
Well, that's the child abuse hotline. That one ending in 1999.
Yeah.
And I give that number out if anybody is thinking that there's any type of abuse or neglect going on from children clear up to the adults.
All right.
And so you can call that number and make your report. Because I'm assuming right now you're staying with a friend, but are you currently homeless?
Yes, ma'am. There was a woman named Natalie Bollinger who was killed a couple of years ago, and the people who ripped me off, stole from me, and were abusing me got away with doing what they were doing because of Natalie's death. At first, people thought that I had killed her. Now, the guy who actually killed her is in prison for 48 years. They actually caught him, but I never got any of the stuff back, and the abuse that I was enduring, nobody ever did anything about. So I've been dealing with that ever since, trying to get police officers to do something about it. Meanwhile, the police officers in multiple jurisdictions use the mentally ill tag to prevent me from being able to make a report, as if I somehow don't know what's going on in my life because of that tag, which is part of the reason that I need an advocate present anytime that I speak to a police officer. First of all, they've been turning off their body cameras when they speak to me in most situations. So that creates a problem. Also, they haven't investigated literally anything that I've been telling about as far as the abuse I've been enduring. So it's complicated. That's part of the neglect and abuse that I've been enduring is police officers neglected the situation, and then they abused me for trying to turn them in.
Okay, so I would go ahead and call the abuse and neglect hotline and make your report that way. What then happens is if it gets accepted through the hotline, then it gets sent to Adult Protective Services, and then she will then make contact with you.
All right.
Once you do that, though, depending on how it gets prioritized, there is a chance that the law enforcement will come with the APS worker.
Well, there's law enforcement here now. As long as it isn't the law enforcement officers in specific that I'm trying to get protection orders against, it should be all right. I'm trying to get protection orders against the sheriff here, Scott DaCosta, as well as Jared Hahn and 2 former officers who were allowed to leave so that I can't get their testimony, basically so they can escape prosecution.
Okay. But yeah, I would contact the hotline, and then I would contact legal aid.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
But And then you also need to get back on Medicaid. You need to contact Medicaid and apply for Medicaid. And then, like I said, once you get Medicaid on the phone with them, then you can talk to them about transportation to and from your appointment.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
if there's anything else we can do for you, you let us know, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You have a good day.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Here you go.
Yep.
All right, more phone numbers. So I suppose we ought to get whatever you guys need real quick so that I can get back to this.
Yeah, figured let you finish your call and stuff like that.
Thank you
I haven't
much.
met you, by the way. I'm Deputy Rivera.
Good to meet you.
Good to meet you. So I got a call last night. Somebody's concerned about some text messages and voicemails incident to Alyssa Rainwater and Mandy Hughes.
Both of those people I have a lot of major issues with. They're in the state of Colorado or in the state of Nebraska. They had some information about my case that needed to come forward, and they were unable to do so. But also, I was slandered in the courts by officers in Colorado, and Alyssa Rainwater and Mandy Hughes had information that needed to go to them. With the police, they refused to do that. As a result, I've had to do things that are quite unorthodox, because getting an officer to actually take a report about the abuse has been impossible. And yeah, I'm just pissed off at the whole situation. Instead of talking to me directly with their issues, they chose to slander me to other people that I've been associating with that I was trying to get help from. But then there's the issue of I don't do drugs, and most of these people are addicted to drugs or alcohol. Um, Mandy Hughes is a former addict. She's not using anymore, and I don't know about her daughter Alyssa, but they have information that needs to go to the Colorado police and the courts in Colorado, and their information also needs to come here to Nebraska to you guys.
Well, the concern is, in one of those messages, you threatened to post their private information on YouTube, saying that you were going to release their phone number and their address on YouTube.
I don't have their address. If I had their address, I'd have served them with a summons already.
That's beside the point.
As far as Mandy's phone number, I don't have her phone number. I do have Alyssa's.
I'm not saying that you're in any trouble right now, but it has come up. I want to bring it up to you. You should probably stop doing that, okay?
Well, I've been bringing it up for a while, and nobody's done a thing about it from my end, and that's the biggest issue that I'm having, is that it's okay one way, but not the other. It's okay for other people to do it to me. It's not okay for me to do it back. It's okay for people to threaten my life, but I'm not allowed to do the same back. I can't even defend myself against these people, and I need to get law enforcement involved. But then I have to deal with the fact that law enforcement in multiple states and multiple jurisdictions have been involved, and nothing has been done about it. And then they keep compartmentalizing, saying, "Oh well, it didn't happen here in this jurisdiction, and it didn't happen in that jurisdiction." I'm like, "Hey, all this stuff is happening across multiple jurisdictions. I need an advocate to actually help me with all this stuff. I'm not computer savvy. The only reason I have YouTube is because somebody helped me. The only reason I have Facebook is because somebody helped me. The only reason that I have an email address is because somebody helped me. I mean, this is all stuff that literally I know how to look up YouTube videos, and I know how to play video games. And even video games, I need help setting up. So, I mean, this is a major issue where I've been trying to get an advocate for most of my adult life, especially in the last 3 years since the assault and the threats and the abuse from the Bollinger family started. And that's a whole rat's nest and hornet's nest, because they're heroin addicts and meth addicts, and I don't do either, so I don't really fit in with that group anyway. But it's also the fact that the threats have been ongoing, and trying to get an officer to do something about it has not happened. I've been prevented from going to court illegally. My public pretenders won't do their job. I literally have to have an advocate to do anything at all. I can't get you guys to actually efficiently do your job unless there is somebody there and present. And as far as your body cameras go, like, officers keep showing up with their body cameras off. The only time they tend to turn it on is when they realize that I'm recording.
just like Officer Hahn the other day or last week. And that whole situation with that is rotten, corrupt, and contemptible, and it puts me in danger, especially when it's Deputy Hahn, and I've been trying to get charges pressed against him for over a year.
So now, here's the issue I'm looking at. Looking at it from my perspective, okay? I have screenshots of these text messages.
I have hundreds of screenshots. Would you like to look at them?
If you could send those to me, if you could send those to my email, then I can look at that. But right now, I have to get out of the car.
All right, that'll work.
But from my perspective, I'm seeing them as the victim right now because I have proof, I have evidence that you're sending these messages, these voicemails to them. I'm not saying that you're in any trouble right now, okay? But they're
I
asking
also
you to
haven't
stop.
released their phone number. The thing is, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop speaking out until I get an honest day in court. Until they come forward with what they knew and what they know is going on. Until they come forward with that, I'm going to continue speaking out. As far as releasing their phone number, I won't release their phone number.
Okay, but you can't be threatening them either. And if they ask you to stop contacting them, you have to stop contacting
Threaten to release their phone number? Sir, I've asked hundreds of people to stop contacting me, and nobody's done a thing about it. That's the problem, is that it's not just one person. It's hundreds of people doing this, hundreds of emails, hundreds of all of this
Sean,
stuff.
this is the first time I'm meeting you, okay?
That's right.
This is what I have right now, and I'm going off of that. Okay, what
I'm
want...
telling you is that I'm trying to do the same thing. I'm trying to get these people who are aware of the abuse that I've endured to actually keep their word. The fact is, they put me at risk and wasted my funds by claiming that they were going to do things that they didn't, rendering services that they never rendered. And the problem is that I need their testimony in order to go after the predators who have put my life in danger. And that's something that really needs to be taken care of in the courts, and I am trying hard to get an advocate like I should have had when all of this started, so that I can deal with it the legal way.
Yes, this is not the legal way to deal with it.
I have to do it in other ways until then. I have to do whatever it takes to show the truth. I have to do whatever it takes to keep this out there so that I can keep myself protected. And there are a lot of predators out there, many of whom have threatened my life. And as far as having an advocate there, somebody from Adult Protective Services, I need somebody who is there who has my best interests at heart, not the best interests of corrupt police officers or bad public pretenders. I need to be able to show the truth, and because I am attacked and threatened by the general public because of what happened to Natalie Bollinger, and the fact that I was never allowed to defend myself in court or otherwise, I've been assaulted on many, many occasions, and I need to be able to do something about it. I have had my life threatened on many, many occasions, and I need to be able to do something about it. Now, in order to be taken seriously, because I keep getting the mentally ill treatment, I have to have somebody present. And these situations do have to be recorded. Now, we tried this with Deputy Hahn in 2018. Now, instead of him doing what it is that he should have done, which is investigate where we brought him, he didn't do anything. He didn't talk to any of the witnesses. He made no effort whatsoever. Meanwhile, I've had to go through years of abuse with no income. I am disabled. I do need my disability income. And I do need to be able to go see my therapist. And I do need to be able to actually have those things done. And that all requires me having an advocate.
Yeah.
I don't have one of those. Now, I would like to do all of this the perfect, right, and legal way.
Yeah.
That is the way that I started off doing this. And that's the reason that I have so much issue with law enforcement, especially in this town and in Colorado, is because when I tried to do it the legal way, I ended up having to deal with a whole bunch of meth heads and a whole bunch of heroin. Well, all right, the heroin heads don't want to get off the couch, but the meth heads, I had to deal with them actually assaulting me, actually threatening me, and meanwhile, every time I go to a police officer about it, I get blown off and given mentally ill treatment. And it's been explained to me repeatedly throughout my adult life that I literally have to have someone go in with me in order to do that. In order to be taken seriously, instead of being treated like I'm mentally ill and dragged to a hospital and drugged again, which has happened 11 times since Natalie died. I'd like to say that first of all, because I do want my life to end. But I'm not trying to kill myself. I'm making zero attempt to kill myself. I am still trying to get help. Every time that I decided that I was going to try to talk to the police instead of kill myself, I get dragged in and shot up with more drugs. Meanwhile, I'm not violent, but those drugs make me violent. They fuck with my head. And I tell all of these hospitals, don't put these drugs in me. But because the police request it, they do. That needs to stop. My safety needs to be a concern as well.
It is. And so right now, Sean, obviously we're trying to go, we're kind of starting over again. We're getting you your advocate, your
Yes,
legal
sir.
aid, your Medicaid, and all that. We're gonna
Also,
get you,
Mandy Hughes, the reason we're having this issue is there was some stuff that she claimed she was going to come forward about, and she didn't. But also, the fact that she didn't come forward about it continues to put me at risk
Yeah.
of these predators. In addition, she is afraid of these predators. One of them is the predator that I was trying to turn into Officer Hahn. His name is Ted Bollinger. And Ted Bollinger is a dangerous man. He got into a high-speed chase with his daughter last year, and that was in Oklahoma through Kansas. The man is very dangerous, and he is connected with dangerous drug dealers. He had his daughters selling drugs for him at 13 years of age. He's beaten 3 of his ex-wives. He's gotten 2 of them at least strung out on heroin. This man is a dangerous criminal,
He
and I
sounds
need to be
dangerous,
able to defend myself against him. In addition, he raped both of his daughters. I mean, this is a man who, if he's willing to do that to his own daughters, just imagine what he's willing to do to me.
or Sean, like, your safety is obviously important to me, okay? But with this, Mandy, I'm not connected to this. It's not my case. I'm just kind of here. I got to go get my car. Mine's in the shop, so I'm getting a different one.
Well, I don't have their address,
Yeah,
and I
I
won't
know.
post that. And I do have Alyssa's phone number, and I'm not going to post that either.
Okay. Can you just do me a favor and just not contact them? I know it's going to be frustrating for you. You want the truth. But right now we're starting over. We're going to get your advocate. We're just going to kind of steamroll with that, okay? Hopefully after that, then we can get your summons to court, and we'll go all from there, okay? But right now, they feel that you're harassing them. I'm not saying you are, but that's how they feel.
Oh, no, I would definitely call it harassment. But I don't have any problems with not contacting them.
Okay, can you just do that for me?
That's what we want.
Yep.
Because like you have valid concerns right now, okay? And I don't want you to become the suspect in a case where you're the victim. Okay?
Yes, sir.
And you're doing that by creating this issue. Don't do that. Wait till you get your advocate, wait till you get everything sorted out and go through it in that process. I know it's a nightmare.
A lot of this is that I had an advocate. I was supposed to have an advocate and almost had one right before Natalie was killed.
Yeah.
Because Natalie was killed, I was made homeless. All of my disability money ended up getting spent on going to and from places where I had to go to court, where I'm at risk for going to those places. I can't go to the state of Colorado at all without having the fear of being threatened, harassed, or assaulted. And the threats and harassment have continued. I mean, I still have people that call me up. Matter of fact, yesterday somebody did. I mean, this is stuff that I really need an advocate present for so that I can make sure that these things are documented.
Yeah, and if you have people harassing you, call us. Okay, we're going to do the exact same thing. Come talk to you, get what was said. If there's text messages, we'll get screenshots of those. We'll take photos of those.
I have
and all that.
hundreds. My whole computer is full of them.
Okay.
That's what I'm waiting on an advocate for because I've tried calling 911 and I wasn't taking. I'm talking about here in this town.
Yeah.
I've called 911 and it was not taken seriously.
Yeah.
I've gone in with Molly Smith. You know her. She works at Pumpkin Pantry. And she's willing to go in with me, but right now she's on leave. Sorry, it's cold out here and I'm nervous because you're hot. But she went in with me, and Deputy Hahn still didn't do any investigating. And I showed him just one of literally thousands of scenarios where this has happened.
And obviously, I'm not Jared Hahn, so I'm hoping that we can start over and we can go from there. Okay?
Yes, sir. Well, one of the things when I found out that you're a school liaison officer, that kind of put me a little bit at ease because that lets me know you're a little bit different.
Yeah. So my job is a lot with the kids, but it doesn't mean I don't work with adults. I have a lot more contacts and better relationships with people with HHS, and that's what I'm trying to get you help with. Okay?
Yes, sir.
But right now, if you could just do me a favor and not contact them, we're gonna do this right. I just don't want to put you in another bind. Okay?
Yes, sir. Do you think Well, you're the investigating
He's the
officer.
investigating.
Do you think you could have her send literally every text message that we've had since we first got in contact? Because I will need those recorded.
I don't know if I can get those to you, but I might be able to get her to send them to me. So if it goes to court, they can. I don't know if I can though, because I don't know how old they are, and they only keep them for so long.
Well,
So
there's 3 different phone numbers, and I've been in contact with her mother on all 3 of them. That information there shows that the police in Colorado slandered my name repeatedly. There's already evidence that I have that proves that the police slandered me, and also some from Alyssa Rainwater and from Mandy Hughes, as well as many others. But I need all of it. I mean, the fact is, those people tried to make a police report, and the police wouldn't take it. A lot of people tried to make a police report, and the police down there absolutely just refused to take it no matter what. And then they slandered me and all those people in court by saying that nobody was willing to go in and nobody tried. The fact is, these people had valid reasons for not showing up, and these people also had valid reasons why they did make an effort. They did make these calls. They did try to get these officers to listen, and the officers in all of these jurisdictions and counties outright refused. Because I was trying to turn in their officers, first of all, because this stuff started before Natalie was killed. I mean, I went through a whole year of hell before Natalie was killed. And I came to dual county officers for that. I spoke to officers in Boulder, Colorado. And those were the 2 places where it was focused on. At the time, I thought Natalie was still living in Virginia, but it turns out that she was living in Broomfield. And she ended up getting shot in the head by Joseph Michael Lopez with a 9mm Glock at 6 to 15 inches away from her head at Macintosh Dairy in Thornton, Colorado, just off of Riverdale Road. I've been there twice since she died. To pay my respects and give her my apologies, I do hold myself at least in part responsible for her death. But I hold the police even more responsible because I went to them before I had to do anything drastic to stop the abuse. I was having my phone slapped out of my hand, having people spit on me, having people punch me in the head, just all sorts of stuff. And because I had gone to the police and been blown off so many times, it got to the point where, like, I begged them to put a stop to it. I begged the police to do something about it. I tried to get my friends to help put a stop to it, and many of them said that they would, but then they're so busy doing drugs, like, what the hell are they going to do to help me? They're all druggies. And then I have that situation going on, whereas I just don't do drugs. I got ADHD and Tourette syndrome, obsessive compulsive disorder, and social anxiety disorder, and like I got enough issues without drugs.
Well, I'll tell you what. Whenever me or Sean or anyone else comes here and talks to you, this is how we're going to do it, okay? I'll talk to you like an adult. I'm going to treat you like an adult. I want you to talk to me, tell me what's going on, be honest with me, okay? Makes it a lot easier to work with you.
Absolutely.
Let's leave it there. Don't be contacting them, okay? Don't make yourself a suspect in a case where you're the victim, okay?
Well, that's the thing, is that in this particular case, yes, I've been harassing them, and yes, I admit it, and yes, I have no problem with stopping. That's not an issue. The people who I have asked to stop have not. And I would like to be able to do something about that. But thank you for the whole advocate thing. If I'd have had an advocate, I wouldn't do this.
Yeah. And that's the way to go. All right, they're gonna help you through this, the legal process, everything, getting that all sorted out in a better way than I'm not an attorney. Okay, it sounds like what you have going on is very complicated.
It's more than just complicated, but yeah.
And they're going to be able to help you get through that. Right now, I'm just trying to keep you out of trouble in this situation, okay?
Yes, sir.
So I'll give you my card. You can send me those screenshots. I'll look at it and see if there's anything we can do. If being that they live in Colorado, it might not be something I can do with them, but at least I can be aware of it with your situation. Okay,
yes,
I'm not getting in trouble.
With them, they haven't been harassing me. The one time that I do feel that it was harassment, it was her being Mandy being extremely rude and inconsiderate. As far as them slandering my name to others, those others are pissed off at me too. Several of them I have asked to stop contacting me, and they continue to do so. And now I harass them too. And in the when they give you a call and say that I'm harassing them, then I'll stop. I do consider it harassment, but at the same time, when I asked them to stop, they didn't.
I know.
And they haven't asked me to stop, so.
And that's why hopefully you call us and we can get a hold of them and ask them to stop before we start doing the same thing we would do to you, citations and things like that, and get them into court for harassing you.
As far as Mandy Hughes goes, she's scared shitless of Tim Bollinger, and the harassment that I've endured and the threats that I've endured, I've attempted on multiple occasions to get the police to take a look at. Because of my computer difficulties, I have to have somebody who can help me with that, and since I don't have that, people expect me to magically be able to do that, and I don't. I don't have somebody who can be my guardian or whatever. I don't have anybody to be my power of attorney, and I've been trying to do that. That's the thing, is that people keep expecting me to do it and pretending like I'm not making an effort because I don't record every single thing that I say or do or every single person that I talk to. And matter of fact, until I got this computer back from Rollins Police Department, I wasn't even able to record that. I basically, if I make a phone call, I make sure that I record it so that it is recorded and it is documented. And I've been documenting on Facebook and YouTube for that very reason. It's difficult to get a police officer to do their job, especially when you have the mentally ill tag. You have to have someone there with you in person.
I don't want to treat you like that. I'm going to treat you like Sean. Okay. But I do want to ask, are you safe right now?
I'm not in any danger of harming myself.
Okay. That's all I want to know, man. And if it ever changes, you give me a call and I will treat you just like this and we'll get you the help you need, okay?
Well, the help that I need is for Region 1 to do what it is that they do and actually do it. I got a hold of Jen Beebe, or I left a message for Jen Beebe this morning. She does not get back on duty until Wednesday. Nicole Peralta has not answered my phone call in over a year and a half, although her office called me this morning, and I was supposed to have an appointment with them on December 30th, and I just didn't have a way to get there. But Jen Beebe said that she would write a report about the situation with Officer Hahn. She felt that the way the situation was handled was wrong as well. So I'm waiting on that to come back. The issue that I have with all of that is that without a power of attorney, I just have to take the abuse. And as far as my paranoia of the police goes, I would like to not be paranoid of you two because you haven't done me any personal wrong. But you do work for a sheriff who I am trying to take to court for wrongdoing. I mean, them not doing their jobs, his deputies not doing their jobs before Natalie died is a major contributing factor that played out in her death. And the cover up that Deputy Hahn and Deputy Selhorst and Deputy Anderson and Scott Costa took part in afterwards it's not something that somebody should ever have to go through. I mean, I grew up in the system being beaten up for the color of my skin and being raped, and it wasn't by my dad like it is in 80% of the child molestation cases. It was people in positions of authority, and they got away with it because of the term mentally ill. So, like my entire adult life, I've had to deal with that. People getting away with it because they just call me mentally ill and it makes it all right. Or somebody steals from me and then their family gang up on me and call me mentally ill and it makes it all right. I mean, I've had everything that I own stolen repeatedly under the term mentally ill. I literally have to have someone to advocate for me. Otherwise, I don't get heard.
Yep, I'm glad you got that advocate. All right, so
Well, I don't have one yet. I got to make those phone calls.
you're in contact. Yeah, I'm glad you're making the steps.
We're gonna get out of your hair. Make those phone calls.
I'd like to get his card before
Yeah,
you go.
I gotta get it in my car.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Sean. Sounds like you got things going.
Yep.
The ball rolling. So that's good.
Hopefully it gets something started here.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, we had all of this started before Natalie was killed. We had it set up so that I was going to crew and counseling, and I had my place up on Hilltop, and I had a wonderful caseworker named Tamara. But Tamara understands autism, and after hearing what I had to go through, she quit her job to make sure that her son didn't have to go through this. And when she quit, everything ended up just going to hell. And I moved to Colorado to try to get things set up there. There was a guy named Jeff Ritter through the Colorado Coalition of the Homeless, and a woman named Tara Heller, also through the Colorado Coalition of the Homeless. And we were trying to get an attorney for me right before Natalie was killed, so that I could take Natalie to court, as well as Ken Wilson and Leah Plunkett, who were the people who stole my disability money, almost $2,000 worth. And because Natalie died, and because I was made homeless, because Natalie died, these people used that as an excuse to kick me out. And then I was stuck homeless with my name all over the news, and people threatening me, people assaulting me, and the police coming and harassing me everywhere that I went, saying, you can't be here, you can't be there. I'm like, hey, well, I'm being assaulted. Can we do something about that? Well, no, that's not my job, or it's out of my jurisdiction, even if it happened in their jurisdiction, which is the whole reason that I've been trying to get the FBI involved since January of 2018.
Here's my card.
Thank
My
you.
email's on there. Send me the stuff. I'll take a look into it. With this being 2 jurisdictions, I can't promise you anything, but I can at least
It's
be aware.
17 jurisdictions.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
yeah.
So,
What that does, that lets me know what's going on with your situation. So when I get something like this, I at least know both sides of the story. Okay.
Yes, sir.
We'll get out of your hair. You got my information. If you need anything, call.
Yes, sir.
If anything changes with your situation, okay.
Yes, sir.
And we'll make sure that you don't have a bad experience. We'll do everything we can.
Well, the major thing is, like, even right now, I don't feel comfortable talking to you as I would like to, because I don't have an advocate present.
Yeah, and that's I heard my feelings, man. I'm
not
just
talking
letting you
about
know
a
what's going
legal
on.
advocate. I'm talking about a disabilities advocate, somebody who can, first of all, if you guys start doing things that are going to send me into a meltdown, and I say, hey, that's something that I have an issue with, most of the police officers that I've dealt with have pushed that button further, including Deputy Hahn. The one time that he actually sat down with me, instead of brushing off what it is that I was telling him, it's because Molly Smith went in with me. Every other occasion, it's been, God, just a pain in the ass. I mean, I literally chased him from one end of town to the other, all the way out to Chapel Lake, and this was the day after I spoke with him with Molly Smith, and he got out of his vehicle and said, I already took your report, got back in his vehicle and drove off. I ended up cruising up and down Main Street at 9:30 at night and speeding and screeching my tires to try to get other people to call 911, because when I had called 911 about the situation, Deputy Anderson had showed up and basically just blew me off. He didn't pay any attention to the fact that it was a very major situation. Somebody was already dead by that point, and he needed to actually pay attention to the fact that her family is doing these things to me. He didn't even take a look at it. So when I was screeching up and down Main Street, I was trying to force people to call 911. That way you have to take a report. And even then, it didn't work out. And I got charges pressed against me, and then they dropped the charges against me, which, I mean, if I commit a crime, I'm going to admit to it. I always do. But I'm not going to admit to crimes that I didn't commit. And a lot of that issue is that I shouldn't have had to break the law to try to get the police to do their jobs. I've been harassed across multiple jurisdictions, multiple counties, multiple states. I've been assaulted in multiple states. I still have people who threaten my life even here in this town. And I need that advocate present so that I can actually make those reports and know that they might possibly go somewhere.
we'll let you get on that. I'd go with call Medicaid first, get your mental health and the counseling set up. That's probably going to be a little bit longer process since it's an application over the phone.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah, make sure you get all the addresses and your phone numbers and all that. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm assuming your roommate knows his address.
Yeah, he
Okay.
should.
as long as you can get all that information. Okay.
Well, he's got a mailing address too.
Okay.
So the thing is, a lot of these places, I have to get my own mailing address, and I'm going to need help with that. So hopefully they'll be able to help me with that. I mean, this is when I'm overwhelmed, I shut down and I can't function. And I was overwhelmed before Natalie died, and it's been nonstop hell ever since.
So hopefully they can get you some help for you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Anything I can do for you? Anything
Um,
more?
Well, I'm gonna wait and try to get an advocate, and then I will probably be sitting with you guys for 3 to 5 days because there's a lot to go through.
Okay.
I got a lot of reports that I need to make, and I'm really just waiting on an advocate at this point. I tried going in without one, and it didn't work out, so it's complicated.
All right, Sean, we'll get out of your hair.
Thanks, sir.
Go back inside, get warm.
You
Okay.
Yep.
Back up.